just I guess being in a relaxed state of mind really does. It really is important for the creativity part, especially I don't know. I'm sure you had these kind of moments when either you're in a shower or you're just taking your work shits, and then all of a sudden while you're taking a shit, you're like, oh, I have a dope idea because you're like in this relaxed state.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Like you'll have some weird ideas in the weirdest times. Yeah, because I mean, I think what's really important for creativity is to like fully immerse yourself into the moment. I mean, they call it like a flow state where like ideas are just flowing, and so it's like you're hyper focused in the moment of trying to do something, and so I think the times when I'm most creative is when I get that flow state and I'm hyper focused on just music and, just caught up in my own head trying to do something, but also not being afraid to just go with the flow. If your body is saying, do this, just try it. I mean, don't get injured or anything, but like see what happens. And then maybe it's dope, maybe it's whack. I don't know. But
actually, I was going to ask you about the whole flow state thing. So that's like one of the topics I've been trying to explore a lot more recently. And I've experienced that flow state where things just like everything you shit out just turns into gold in that moment. But I guess what I'm trying to figure out and ask from you is how do you attain this flow state a lot more consistently? Because sometimes like I'll be at practice, I'm like trying to take deep breaths and try to calm myself, but I can't always attain that flow state consistently. So I just want to ask you from your end.
I've actually been really interested in this topic as well, and so I've been listening to a few podcasts that have experts in the field that have they're like what are the scientists that study the brain? Psychology?
Is that neurology?
Yeah, something like that. But basically, they're studying what the brain looks like in that state. So they'll get like test subjects to like get into that state, and then they're looking at what's going on in their brain and like figuring out what was the best way to get them there. And I mean, I think it hasn't been conclusive of what it is, but they have a few things that help. And I might get this wrong, but I guess maybe it's better if I just speak from experience. What I find is that, it's kind of like a meditative exercise in a way. It's like you gotta calm yourself and become hyper focused in a certain moment, which is a meditative state. You're not thinking about what anyone else is doing, if anyone's looking. I mean, it's almost like you're in a room by yourself, right? And you're there, you're on the ground or whatever, and you're not thinking about anything other than music, for instance. For me, it's the easiest when, I have this music going and it's like my favorite music or whatever, and it's an empty room, it's just me. I find myself getting into that state a lot easier because there's no one around me to like, to give me some kind of subconscious distraction. Yeah. I'm not trying to like perform for them or whatever. So not that you can't do that with other people around. I mean, I do that all the time too, but it's a little bit harder because you have this thing in the back of your mind that, there's these people here or whatever. You can't be crashing all over the place. But yeah, so like, I think, I think the things that apply to meditation also apply to like a flow state for creativity. I don't know. I'll have to send you some of the podcasts I've listened to about it because it's a very interesting subject and it's not fully understood, but there are a lot of methods that people have figured out, and it's not only for typical arts things. Like you can get into like a creative flow state for really anything. And I think that's how a lot of the coolest accomplishments have happened, is when people get hyper focused on something and they'll come up with cool ways to do it. I mean, I have I have a theory that Elon Musk is like really good at this, because that guy just has some wild ass ideas all the time, and then he's also good at executing them. So, you know, I feel like he just gets into this crazy state of mind where he's coming up with all these ideas, and then he goes, okay, let me reach into my deep ass pocket with all this money, and now let's make it happen, you know. And then he's got a rocket that's going all over the place and stuff. So, but yeah,